Meanwhile, the U.S. military getting called upon now during this pandemic crisis to help the American people. A group you might not be thinking about, though, who are standing by and ready to help are the nation's veterans. And our next guest, works for a group who wants to make sure the call is heard. He's the executive director of the Call of Duty Endowment, Dan Goldenberg. He's also a retired U.S. naval captain, reserve naval captain, Dan. He has more than 27 years of military service under his belt. Dan, I want to ask you first, you say that our nation's veterans are uniquely qualified to help during this pandemic. Tell us about what they can do.
Hi, Jillian, thanks. Well, you can see from the president's actions with the mercy and the comfort and calling upon the inactive reserve that the kinds of skills that we need right now during this time of crisis are within the military, be it communications, supply chain, of course, medical. These are folks who can reply to a crisis, make order out of chaos. These are the kind of skills that our country needs right now. Companies can't obviously hire the military, but they certainly can hire veterans who have these skills at this time to help with the needs that we face as a nation right now.
So we have these nationwide hotspots now. We have the problems, the consequences wrought by the pandemic, and then we have this group of presumably thousands, maybe tens of thousands of American veterans who are able-bodied, looking for work. How do we bridge the gap and make sure that some of the right folks are in the right place at the right time?
Yeah, well, first of all, a couple weeks ago, the biggest problem we were looking at in employment was underemployment, people working below their skill sets, making less money because of it, and that hit vets especially hard. Now, just in the last 2 weeks, as we've surveyed our grantees who last year placed 11,000 veterans in jobs, they've seen a 59% increase in demand for veterans asking for help. So It's all about, it's just incredible, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. The good news is those veterans out there, they have these skills that are needed right now. This crisis is an opportunity to cut the red tape that's prevented corpsmen and medics and military truck drivers, some of the most unemployed veterans, from getting jobs. We need to cut that red tape. If you can patch someone together who's badly injured in Afghanistan, you shouldn't have to come home and start over recertifying to ride in the back of an ambulance. Or if you can drive a rig through the Khyber Pass, you should be able to drive it on I-10. We need to cut this red tape and put these folks to work. And we're well positioned at the Call of Duty Endowment to help with that.
So it sounds like a no-brainer when you lay it out that way. One of the things the administration is doing now is President Trump signed this executive order yesterday where he's essentially authorizing the Defense Department to bring back former troops and some National Guards folks to try and help ease the burden that the country is undergoing right now. Does that kind of get us some of the way there?
Well, look, it's just emblematic of the incredible skill sets and resources the military brings to bear. So I think it's smart, obviously bringing the comfort to New York and the mercy here to LA, that brings those skills right there. But, for employers who are, while many folks are cutting back hours and laying off, many other industries need help, obviously supply chain, especially medical, to be able to connect with these resources in the veteran community is really helpful. It's very important for the inactive reserves that they're being used carefully, that we're not robbing Peter to pay Paul. Folks who are doing important, for instance, medical jobs right now aren't taken away from those to shift to different areas when they're already doing good. But the bottom line is there's lots of veterans out here right now, and we can help them. If folks go to callofdutyendowment.org/higher honor, we can help both veterans and employers get matched up, veterans with those great skill sets and employers who need them right now.
Quick final question for you, Dan.
Sure.
What do you hear about these two ships that are, making their way cross country? One about to head out from Norfolk, Virginia to New York City. Friends and colleagues who've served on them or been on board. Can you tell us anything about what they're like?
Well, they're just incredibly capable. They're USNS ships, so you have these civilian government GS crews who run them, and you've got a military crew in terms of the medical support staff, and they're incredible. 1,000 beds on each one of them, incredibly capable with operating rooms and isolation facilities. they're ready to go. Obviously, their purpose is to take the load off the non-infected patients so that the hospitals on land can have more capacity to help those in greatest need with COVID-19. So these crews are going to do just an absolute fantastic job.
Well, Dan Goldenberg of the Call of Duty Endowment, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for your service. For folks at home who are watching, if you're an employer and you're interested in hiring a veteran, if you have a friend or a neighbor who is a veteran looking for work, go to the callofdutyendowment.org and check out the organization's work.